you may just use this. Okay, you may just use this site to do everything that you need to do above Flutter, because it has everything. It has basically all that you need. To install Flutter, you just go to the same site. You see here, install. Under Get Started, you'll see Install Flutter. So under the installation, basically you have Windows, you have Mac OS, and Linux. But according to my understanding and what Arnold told me, you people are using Windows. So I'll select Windows and I'll briefly just explain what you need to understand. To the quickest way I would say, if maybe you are using Linux, it would be a single command for you to get started using Flutter. You just copy this command here and you run it in your terminal. Then you'll have Flutter running already configured, the environment variables, everything set up. Hope I'm not so fast. But given that we are using Windows, I'll just go to the Windows side. The first thing that I would recommend is first have Android Studio set up. Set up Android Studio and be able to run, like, let's say an Android application to be able to run. Set up Android Studio, set up an emulator in Android Studio. Have them run. You can basically, because normally when you set up Android Studio, you can by default be able to run Android application. Set up, have it running with an emulator. After you've done that, come to get, there's this. But before we go to get Flutter SDK, the system requirements, they would recommend that at least you have, okay, this is space 1.64 GB of space. Okay. You need to have Git installed on your PC. Git, that tool that we use for source control, you really need to have it if you're going to run this. Basically, what I want you to pick from here, from the requirements, have Git installed. Then download this zipped file. You click on this zipped file. Download it. After you extract that zipped file, put it somewhere, preferably put it in C. You put it in C, then copy the path. After copying the path, you update the environment variables. Hope we are still together. After updating your environment, okay, this is listed here. We'll normally say how you update for the others. The same place is where you read to the path of that. After extracting this file here that you download, put it somewhere, preferably on C, then copy that path, that file, Flutter, then you see the bin file. You copy that path up to that instance. Then update your environment variables. Then you go in the terminal. You can use the Git tool and run Flutter Doctor. When you run Flutter Doctor, I wish I was using it here. I would show you. When you run Flutter Doctor, it will show you whether anything that is missing. Sometimes the licenses, sometimes it will show that Flutter path is not found, indicating we've not yet updated the environment variables. So to set up, just in case somebody has an issue setting up, you can get to Arnold or you can get back to me in case. But basically for Windows, this is what you will need to do. And to check whether your PC is running Flutter, you just run the Flutter command anywhere in any terminal. If it shows errors, then it means Flutter is not installed. But if it shows, let's say, okay, yeah, actually, no, not that. There's a command that we normally, this command here, Flutter Doctor. When you run Flutter Doctor, it will show you any errors that may be brought up about by not configuring everything as it should be. But in most cases, some of the things you're going to find that you need either to allow licenses, you need to go to the Android Studio and download some plugins. But with that, you can always get back to me or Arnold with a specific error that has come up. So after setting up, basically that is downloading the file, extracting it, updating the path, having Android Studio, have VS Code installed. Because our machines are not so, okay, most machines are not really powerful. Maybe if you're using Mac OS, because I've seen for it, the rate of freezing is low. I'd recommend that instead of using Android Studio, even after setting up, you use VS Code. And maybe one thing that I missed out, when you've installed Android Studio, you need to check under plugins. Under plugins, check for Flutter. Put in Flutter. Then when you get the plugin of Flutter, it will come with the plugin of that. Install it. The same thing. When you install VS Code, look for plugins. Under plugins, search for Flutter. When you install Flutter, they automatically add that. In other words, you need to have the Dart and the Flutter plugins running in your development environment. Apart from this setup, have an emulator. Agree with the allowances. There's a command. This command here. You run Flutter and licenses. But I think maybe different approach. Okay. This is what I talked about there. That's for desktop also. If you want to also run on desktop, you can enable this. You can run this command to download in the other things, and you'll be able to use a web, mobile, then desktop. So basically, that is the setup. I don't know whether we are at par with the setup.
I'm also recording the session, so in case they forget something, they can always go back.
Okay. Have we got the setup? Okay, I believe next time I'll be on in time, and I'll be on with a clear connection. Then maybe if people will not have setup, we'll go through the setup together with them. So basically, that is the setup. That is what you need to know about setting up Flutter. Okay, editor. Okay, I talked about the editors. You need Android Studio. You need, preferably I would advise you use VS Code, because given the emulators are going to be using RAM, Android Studio is going to be consuming RAM, but it depends on your PC. But preferably have the least VS Code, yeah. Have VS Code set up. Have VS Code, then install this is what I was talking about. Install the Flutter and that plugin. After installing these plugins, when you click on VS Code, like when you click on VS Code, you see the view. There is a menu called view. When you click on that view, they bring command palettes. When they bring command palettes, you can put in Flutter new or Flutter create, and that command will be able to create for you an application. Like when you go to, if somebody has a laptop there, you just click on view under VS Code. If the Flutter plugin is installed under view, when you click on view and select command palettes, you should be able to put in Flutter, and they'll bring for you a command to create a Flutter application. Alternatively, if you're using Android Studio for it, when you click on new project, if you've installed the Flutter plugin, to give you new Flutter project. So you'll be able to run a Flutter project from Android Studio straight up from the new project setting is already there. When you press on new project, that option will be there in the Windows. But I strongly advise you use VS Code. Okay, so Flutter, basically what you need to know about Flutter, you're going to be just working with widgets. And I believe they talk about that on the first page here. Where's that? Get started. Let me just get this. So basically, everything you see in Flutter is going to be a widget. And there are not so many widgets to learn. You need to know that in Flutter, we have types of widgets. That's the stateful and the stateless. After you've learned that, just know the rest is history. They're just like 4 widgets that you need to know, and you're ready to develop mobile applications. After knowing that, okay, what is a stateless widget? A stateless widget, basically, it means if I declare, let me just get it here. If I declare a stateless widget, okay, I'm saying in a Flutter application, you have 2 widgets, stateful and stateless. If, for example, I'm going to just display data, then I can go for a stateless widget. If I'm interested in, are we still following up? Looks like Arnold has gone off. Are we following
I'm now
up?
back. I'm now back.
Because, okay, like, I can just, okay. I was just saying, I was just giving us a brief so that we come next time when we are really ready to just start off. I was saying Flutter basically has, it's not complicated. I think one of the things that, is normally the scope, the overview. There is not so much in Flutter that is complicated. One, we need to know that there are just 2 widgets. They are like classes. You can take it as a class. It's a stateful and a stateless. Whenever you want to work with data that changes, you're going to use a stateful widget. Whenever you're going to work with data merely displaying, you go with the stateless widget. Apart from those 2, those are like classes up there. Then the rest that you need to know, one is how to use a column, how to use a row. If you've a row, basically, the horizontal bit, a column is the vertical bit. If you've learned how to use a column and a row, let me see here if I can show you an example. We'll get into the, okay, the code labs, okay, getting started now. Write your first application, okay. Let me just show you this. You just need to know like 4 widgets and you're ready to develop applications. So, okay, let me just go to this, create a start application. Okay, let me first explain from here. When you run, what I was talking about when you run from the palettes, create a new project, they give you a template. I wish I had my code here, I would show you the template. But mainly, you will see a folder called lib. And within lib, there is a main.dat file. That's where all the execution starts from. So when you come to that file, in the main file, you see a library. This is a package. It's a package called Flutter Material. That's basically for the UI. You can use also Cappuccino for iOS, or you can even use it on iOS. Within the application running, it comes and executes this method. This is the method, void main run application. So what I was talking about is the state, but the screen doesn't really allow me to show you this. But this is a stateless widget, but I can convert it into a stateful widget. Meaning by this being declared, every down here as constant and have class my app extend stateful widget. There you can be able to the title, change the when the app is basically, this is what you can declare and link okay, we use scaffold, it's from materials, yes. So
Yes, Michael. Yes, Michael.
okay, I believe I'm over giving people a lot. Okay, are we?
Yes, Michael.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Are we still on?
Yes, we are still on.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, let me just complete with the overview. Let me not get into the code details because I'm not running like on PC now because it may confuse people. But basically what people need to know is there are just mainly two categories of widgets: stateless, stateful. The moment you know that, and depending on the use case, if you, for example, I'm going to do a login screen, then I know I cannot go for stateless widget. I have to go for a stateful widget. If I'm going to just display data, then I can go for a stateless widget. We normally do not encourage declaring stateful. You can go for stateful widgets all through, even where they're not needed, but we don't encourage that because normally wherever there's a stateful widget, it means there's going to be building. The application is going to be doing some work. So would encourage you to be keen when you're declaring these widgets. Okay. When declaring these widgets, because okay, the example I would give, this main application is running a stateless widget, meaning no change of state of the data that is rendered doesn't change, but still somebody can declare it as stateful, which is a waste. Okay, so basically that. The next thing you need to know is how to use, I was saying, how to use a row, how to use a column. You need to know the moment you know how to use a row, the moment you know how to use a column, you're another step forward. Then the next thing you may need to know is how to use a text widget, because that one you'll not miss it. Let me just show you an example here. There is a text widget here that you see that text, hello world. That one you likely to every data that you see in an application. Let me just show you here an application. You see this welcome to my card, open an account. That is a text widget. All these are text widgets. These are buttons. Okay, what we're saying in Flutter, everything is a widget. Everything you see here on this screen is a widget. Let me just show you. This is a widget. These are text widgets. They're in a column. A column means like vertical. Take a column to be vertical. For example, let me just point out. Okay, I don't have access to it. Were you seeing the screen I was sharing?
The one before, but not we weren't able
Okay, I just wanted to
sharing like let me say 5 minutes back. We weren't able to see.
oh, now I'm not sharing. Okay. I just wanted to explain row and column so that you get the concept. Let me just explain a row and column so that we get the concept.
All right then.
Okay, you're going to be working with rows and columns, text widgets. Can you see my screen?
Sure, we can see it.
Okay. Application. Let me just go back to the moment you learn how to use row and column, you're another step forward. Okay, what I'm saying, everything in Flutter is a widget. The screen you see before you is a widget. This is a stateful widget because you're able to see there is this thing that is able to move forward, backward. It's able to actually it changes on it, even on its own. There's a timer that pushes it. So you declare application here is and stateful. So we have text widgets and button widgets. Let me just go forward. When you look at this is a column. You can declare a column from, let me see. What I mean, this is a column. Everything you see here, that is a column. It's vertical. Then within the column, you can have rows. Now this is a row. And actually this is a column. There is a row, this is a row stretching from here to there. So within that row, we can have an icon, this icon, then we can also have another text widget. Actually, there's a text widget up, then there's also text widget down. So in other words, we have a row. Within that row, we can have even a column. This can be a column. Actually, this is a row. I don't know whether you're seeing what I'm saying. Okay, let me just show it here. This is a row. And within that row, we have this first column and we have another column. Okay. So basically what you need to learn, let me just leave it at that. What you need to learn is how to use rows, how to use columns, because all the other things are structured in that way. Everything you see on the screen, you'll be seeing a row, you'll be seeing a column. After learning how to use rows and columns, put in the text widgets. After that, we can go to the input. So basically, you need to know like 4 widgets to be able to develop an application. I don't know whether that has been sufficient, but you do not need to know so many widgets to be able to develop an application. All you need to know is around 4 widgets, and everything is accessible here. Everything, all the widgets. Maybe what I did share, sometimes you want to work with libraries. So you have to go to this. You go to this site. This is the official site that has all the packages that you may need. Sometimes, for example, you want a data picker, you want to work with given, can have HTTP. For example, if you want to pull in data from an API, you need to use an HTTP package. When you come to pub.dev, they will show you the packages. They will show you now, this is the HTTP package. You can also use DO instead of that, but normally HTTP. There are also shared preferences. If you want to store data, if you want to store not a lot of data, key value records, you can use shared preferences. So this is where we get the packages. And normally package, you can just click on it. And actually, if you're using VS Code, we shall see how you can not even come this side and be able to get those packages. So you see here, after putting in shared preferences, you have to import it and all that. So I believe all that I can say, if you've not yet installed Flutter, install Flutter. If you've already installed Flutter, just be able to structure. I don't know, am I sharing? Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Be able to like, just create a few things. We shall see the navigation. Be able to create. Okay. Be able to create a few screens. Okay, you may not be able to navigate for now, but be able to play around with text. Don't do much for now. Don't do so much for now, but basically what you can do is to just play around with, because now you see there's a row here, a row here, a row here, and column. Just be able to play with the basics. We can pick up from there. I don't know whether somebody has a question.
Thank you
I
very
don't know
much,
whether
Michael.
somebody.
So let me request if Mirembe or Esther, if you have a question, please, you can raise it. Actually left with 10 minutes. Remember, you're
Sorry,
breaking.
I can't
You're
hear.
breaking.
I cannot get that. Can you try to type that?
Remember, you
I
can
couldn't
type
get what you
in,
were saying.
like,
Yeah.
because we are not able to get you very well. You can maybe type it in the chat, and then Michael will give us feedback, please.
Okay, I don't know whether somebody else has a question. But all I can say is Flutter, among all things, I was able to install Flutter and VS Code. Okay, when you run Flutter in the terminal, what do you get? What, like, does it bring the, okay. Yes, you need an emulator. You need to have an emulator. You can use your physical device, but it's better to have an emulator as well. Because not all the time, at times you want to be doing applications that require maybe to have a second device. So preferably, and actually in VS Code, you can be able to create, I don't know whether you had added the plugin. Had you added the plugin for Flutter and that? If you had added that in VS Code, actually when you click on no device, there is some cutoff that shows no device. You can be able to create an emulator from VS Code straight. I don't know if I've answered you.
So, Esther, do you have any question? I guess our questions are done. So in case anyone has a question, you'll be able to send it in our group, and then I'll forward it to Michael. So we are left with 6 minutes. It's about to close up.
Yes.
So let me take this opportunity to thank Michael for accepting our meeting, for accepting to join our meeting and also help us and also guide us on how to develop the mobile app. We really appreciate. Michael, thank you very much. And we hope that you come back again, and then you will take us through the entire process of developing the application. The application is for Nyom Planet. Yes, I'll give you more details about the application, but we really appreciate your time you have invested in us. And also, yes, I know network issues have been very hard for you, but you took that time to go out and get a clear network. So we really appreciate for that time and for everything you've done for us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michael. So
yes, I guess I was off.
All right then. So let me request for us to close the meeting if there's no one who has a question or anything to add on. So if there is anyone who has a word or something, please you can go forward. It's about to close in the next 4 minutes. Thank you. So I'll assume that there's no one who has any question or there is a chat here. Someone is saying, thank you, good night. Okay. All right. So let me just request to close the meeting. Thank you very much for turning up. And next time, let's do the same. Let's try to get in time. And yes, we start the actual code. So today it has been a brief introduction. And I'm going to share the video on YouTube so that if maybe I've forgotten a concept, you can go back and watch the video and understand it better. So thank you very much once again, Michael, and also thank you very much, Mirembe, and let me thank Mirembe and Esther for joining the meeting. So, have a good night and see you next in the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.